Oh, welcome back to another episode of Poddy Majic. I've got a very, very special guest with me today. He's played 52 games for Melbourne Football Club so far. He was a premiership player at age 20 or 19? 20. Unbelievable, right? And he's one of the best looking fellas going around. Please welcome Trent Rivers. Hey!
What a bad few little stats you got going.
Yeah, that's 52 games, one premiership. That's pretty awesome.
Oh, I'm pretty stoked with it. But,
that's pretty good. It's pretty good. I can't say there'd be that many other guys that could say that.
Oh, I mean, I'll take what I get, but I'm, grateful for the opportunities.
Yeah. Well, I thank you very much for coming on. But Trent and I have been doing a little bit of training this off season. It's your first off season down Poddy Madge.
Oh yeah, it's been a bit of journey, hasn't it?
It's been a journey, yeah. So I thought just to start everyone off, we'd get you to sort of tell your story about your first session. Do you remember the first session?
Oh, I mean, not really. I walked out seeing stars, but the first session, I came in bit overweight.
You had your your end of season stuff, and you had a few weeks off, like everybody does, like everyone does when they first come back in. But what I specifically remember, I have never seen someone actually go so genuinely white. It was, and you've got these beautiful blue eyes, right? And he was pale and he looked like an actual White Walker. Like,
it was a struggle, wasn't it? The first few just hit me for six.
Yeah. But what I loved about it, you didn't give up. You didn't throw in the towel after one hard session, and you came in and there was a few hard sessions.
It was close.
I know it was close. I know. But you kept coming back, and we're 8 weeks into it, a little bit more than that now, something like that. And you're looking awesome, and drop some weight. And we were just saying today of how good the physique and how good your training. So I couldn't be happier. Yeah.
Oh, I'm stoked with it as well.
Have you had fun?
No, it's been good. It's been the first couple obviously were a bit, a bit different. But once we started getting the whole getting a crew in, and training with other guys as well.
It's a bit different when there's only one of you in the room and I've only got you to look at. And then versus having everyone else that I'm going around and touching base with as well. So, all right. So how's your off season been anyway? You've had a trip away.
Yep. Did a little trip with a couple of mates.
Who'd you go with?
Jeremy Sharp, Chad Warner. And then met up with Isaac Heaney and his mate Chris over in Bali.
Yeah, wicked. Nice. Where'd you stay in Bali?
Canggu.
Big villa, hotel?
Yeah, nice villa.
What'd you do? What'd you get up to?
You
can tell me with everyone listening on the podcast anyway.
No, we just had a good hit out. Just, drinking
crossword puzzles and Sudoku.
Sit down.
And indulge yourself in the culture and drank tea and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, of course, swam with the elephants, all that sort of thing. So
very good. All right, so just to sort of get the juices going a little bit, a couple of just quick fire questions. Just doesn't have to be too long an answer. Just get them in and just tell me a little bit about all these things. Who'd you grow up supporting?
West Coast.
West Coast. Who's your favourite player?
Mark
LeCras. Great. Why is that?
I don't know, I just liked the way he went about it.
Were you like
against the Bombers?
Well, yeah, that was pretty good actually. Were you a member?
No, I wasn't a member. Dad was though.
Yep. So you went to a few games, well?
Oh, I went to a few,
Yeah. Favourite movie?
At the moment, I'd probably say Good Will Hunting.
Good Will Hunting.
Great
wow. Movie. Is that as in because you've only just watched that recently, or?
Oh, I've watched it a few times. Yeah. But I like like that or Shutter Island. Plot twist movies.
Oh, man.
Love a plot twist.
That's full on, the Shutter Island stuff. Have you been up to Heathcote? You know where that is in Applecross? That's where I take Noel, in that shipwreck playground thing. So that whole building, that used to be like a mental asylum. And it is.
There you go.
And it's converted into a library and historical thing. There's a restaurant and all that sort of stuff up there. But it's just got this Shutter Island feel, man. If you go up there and see this building, it just looks like that building on Shutter Island.
And every time I'm going to be there, I'm going to think about it.
It's actually, it just gives you honestly, it gives you, anyway. Any hobbies that you're into?
Oh, I've tried playing a bit of golf.
Yeah. I have seen that actually. You were out yesterday, hey?
Yeah, played yesterday.
Who'd you play with?
Friends. Just a couple of mates from primary school. Just a little par 3 in Leeming. So nothing too hard. You just bring a sand wedge and a putter.
Are you any good or?
Oh nah, I'm not good.
Have you played on any of the good courses in Melbourne?
No. It's a privilege to play at Royal Melbourne, so you got to build your way up to get there. But I played at Sandringham a few times. That's probably the main one.
Yeah.
And then there's another par 3 course that I played a bit at Oakley.
Yeah, right. And who's like the best down Melbourne?
It was Jaden Hunt, but, unfortunately we've had to, he's parted ways. So I think Stephen May.
And that was probably why, the one when got rid of him. Yeah, we're going, get out. Here's your...
Steve's definitely up there. I think him and Angus are, fighting for top spot. But, I think Steve will definitely claim the...
Yeah, wicked. And how many snags have you kicked?
Oh, I should know this, shouldn't I? It's not very high. 5 or 6.
5 or 6? I think it was 5. I think it was 5. Yeah. I just wanted to see if he was trying to overestimate it. I knew it was one of them. Favourite teammate or closest teammate?
It was Luke, but he decided to leave us. So probably Jake Bowie or Daniel Turner, one of those two boys.
Yep. And favourite PT you've worked with?
Oh, there's a few.
There's not. There's not.
Poddy Majic is right up there.
Good answer. We'll clip that bit up. And this is another one. This is it true one. I got told this one yesterday by someone I was training. Is it true that during the game against Freo, you were getting a bit up and about, and there was Sean Darcy there, and you went and gave Sean Darcy a big hip and shoulder, and he turned to you and he said, "You were the softest bloke out here." Is that true?
Oh, well, we went in with a plan to get right into him. So, I was doing what the coach said, but, I was trying to play my role. I was trying to do what I had to do, and then I've copped that. And,
that's all time.
It is what it is,
Oh, big Sean. He's an angry man when he's out there.
Oh, he's just strong.
He's big.
He's
big
just
boy.
Big and strong and you can't move him.
Yeah, no, he is an actual weapon. Yeah, and you've had a couple of sessions with Sean and some of the other boys as well this season.
Yeah, popping through.
All right, so I want to know all about Trent Rivers. So where'd you grow up?
Grew up in Leeming.
Mm-hmm. Just around the corner here.
Around the corner, not too far from your place. Yeah.
Yep. Where'd you go to school?
Banksia Park Primary.
Banksia Park Primary, and then Leeming High School, hey?
Leeming High, yeah.
And did you were you in the same year as Shannon Neal, or was he a year above?
Year below.
Year below?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So did you play a little bit of school footy and stuff with him, or?
Oh, I think we maybe we didn't do much school footy. It was we're not a very footy school, but I think there was maybe a game against Corpus that we played together.
Oh, that's my school.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know how well we went against them, but a little after school pracky game that we played.
Yeah, I can't remember playing. We played. I played school footy. Was never that good, really, particularly. But we did win the year 12 thing. I can't remember if we versus Leeming or not. I think it was more like all like the Catholic schools around in that comp or whatever. So I'm sure we wouldn't have beaten you if you had Shannon Neal and you in the team anyway. So
I don't know about that. We didn't have much else after.
And your family, brothers, sisters, mum, dad.
Yep. So got an older brother and a younger brother, Keegan and Cameron. And then mum and dad, Sam and John, and then I've got 3 older stepbrothers as well.
Yep.
So they're a few years older than us, and couple of 2 of them have kids running around at the moment.
Amazing,
so,
yeah, great.
Yeah, Christmas has started to become a massive event.
It's more fun when there's kids around for Christmas as well. Hey, just brings that kind of like that bit more of magic about Christmas again. Yeah, that's good. And was everybody else sporty as well? Your brothers and or your mum and dad, from a sporting background, or?
Yeah, so dad played a lot of footy in Bunbury where he grew up.
Yep.
And then
is he from Bunbury? Is he
from Bunbury? Yeah.
Did you ever live down there or no?
Nah. I was born. Lived in the house that I'm in pretty much
really?
my whole life.
Oh, wow, amazing.
So, and then, mum used to do the triathlons.
Yep. Really?
Yeah, so she did that for...
So how come you're a shit runner then?
Hey, you know what? I've asked the question multiple times. Like, hey, where are the genetics? I'll need them.
Yeah.
And neither of them can supply them. But they've given me these tree trunks of legs, which don't really move too well.
They look great. I wish I had them. But,
until it comes to running a 2K time trial, and you
feel like you got lead weights at the bottom of them.
Mate. But so mum's what's she now? She's 53 or 4, and she's still swimming and riding, once a week each. So
amazing,
ticking along.
So keeping fit. That's unreal. Have you ever tried like any triathlon or endurance events like that ever? Like when you were young or anything like that?
I think there was maybe one that we did as a family. It was like maybe a 200-meter swim, 1K run, and a 3K bike ride.
And your mum did everything except for the last 50 metres for every event.
Pretty much. It was all 3 of me and my brothers, and then she jumped in as well. But I was the run, a kilometre run to me back then was the furthest thing I've ever done in my whole life.
Yeah,
so
it may as well have been 20Ks.
Might as well, yeah.
Yeah. And where'd you play junior footy?
At Bull Creek Leaming.
Bull Creek Leaming. And who did you play with that? Was that with Luke and Trey as well? Or at that point?
So unfortunately, it was not unfortunately, I was on the other Bull Creek team. So we had two.
Yes. I always remember junior football, Bull Creek always would have 2 or 3 teams.
Yeah. So juniors, we used to verse them a lot. And then we versed them, we'd lose by about 80 to 100 points every time. Because, they just had
the guns.
They had everyone. And then it was me and a couple of my mates that were, pretty decent on our team. And then, it was fend for yourselves almost. And they just had players across the ground that were just developed. They all played well together. And it was just, it was poetry watching them play.
Yeah, gotcha. So you really wanted to be in the other team. And it was just like, is that when they randomly pick you? Like they just go, you're in this one, you're in this one? Or?
They sort of put you in, I think, like guys you go to school with, they sort of keep you with those sort of people.
Yeah,
and they do that from a young age. And then you sort of just stay in those teams. So,
yeah, makes sense.
Going to Banksia didn't really help me out in that
department.
No, it was good.
Yeah, wicked. And then from playing from Bull Creek, you played for East Fremantle for like your Colts and stuff like that. How was that? Who did you play with there?
Yeah, so you start off with the development squads. So you do the the 12s, 14s, 16s, I think it is. Yep. And then from there they pick a squad of maybe 60 or 70 or something for the Colts, and then they just slowly cut them off.
Yep.
I played at East Fremantle Colts for 3 years, I think. Met some great guys, but got really close with obviously Chad Warner, Jeremy Sharp, and then Trey and Luke as well.
It's amazing that there's been so many guys from that team that you had that have gone through to play for various clubs, hey?
Yeah, I mean, we had a great draft pool across the board, not only East Freo, but we had, I think, it's like 12 or 13 guys get picked up just from our year group from WA. So, I mean, it was a massive result. Yeah,
that is crazy. And am I right in saying that in your draft year or the year before your draft year, you got really sick?
Yeah, so
I was just reading about this, and we haven't spoken about this before, but I didn't know that. You got really sick. You had glandular fever, hey?
Yeah, so I had that and tonsillitis. So I used to get tonsillitis 3 times a year. Finally got him out.
Kissing too many girls, obviously.
Oh, mate, it literally would come along. I'd look at a girl and I'd get it. Literally, it was bad. So I get it a few times a year. Got him out the end of last year. Just finally done with it all. But, so going into my draft year, we had all the state camps and everything. Yeah. But got really, really sick. Glandular fever, tonsillitis, lost 8 kilos in a matter of maybe a couple of weeks, which probably was a good thing for me. Needed to drop a few kilos, but
maybe not the best way to do it.
Maybe not. But So it was a bit of a struggle, and then missed because obviously you can't get your heart rate too high because you can get chronic fatigue.
Yeah.
It was a bit of a struggle.
So how long was that period that you had that for and you had to sort of monitor it and do all that stuff for it?
So it was pretty much New Year's Eve, and then it almost progressed all the way up to the start of Colts, which would have been end of March maybe. So about 3 or 4 months that it was like slowly progressing. And then when I was able to start running fully, it was round 1. I had no fitness under my belt.
Yeah, I can imagine,
Yeah, it was a struggle, but obviously you're chasing a footy, so you don't really think about it. But.
Yes, yep. And like during that time, I imagine because that's sort of the lead-up period that I guess it's built up for lots of guys that age and playing that level of football, that this is your time, this is your year to show everyone what you got and all that sort of stuff. Were you stressing about that? Obviously, the timing of it all.
Yeah, definitely. And speaking to recruiters and stuff as well, because obviously that all starts up and. While I had it, the recruiters was asking, how you going, how you feeling with everything? And I'm like, look, obviously, you try to put a brave face. No, feeling really good, getting back into fitness. But, I was nowhere. I was, struggling. But now once the footy started coming around, I just sort of got that match fitness back pretty quick.
Yeah.
And then, it wasn't too much of a worry after that because, I was playing consistent footy at Colts level and then... the recruiters were all sort of sitting there going, you're going all right, so don't stress about it too much.
It sounds like you definitely would have had a good mindset about the whole thing, though, going into it. If you've, had quite a quick turnaround, like you said, just gone straight back into games and you've kept that sort of, that, I guess, what you're saying, like a little bit of a facade on going, I'm good, even though, you maybe weren't quite at 100% and pushing it through.
Yeah, and I think it was great. I'm grateful for the state academy, obviously, because I played 16s and then bottom ages and 18s for the 18s.
Yeah.
And then they obviously kept me on the squad for my 18s year as well, even though I hadn't, wasn't able to do anything on in the training, but, they kept me along and, set me up with their doctors and everything. So I was able to, keep progressing with the squad. And then when the games came along, I was fit and firing and ready to go.
Yeah, wicked. And then 2019 you were drafted, hey?
Into 2019,
Yep. Pick 32.
Yep.
To Melbourne.
Yep.
Yeah. And who else was, that was with Luke as well, got picked up in that same draft?
Yeah.
Yep.
Luke
Any of the other guys? And Cozzy?
Yeah.
Great. Wow. That's an awesome three pickup.
It's just us three.
That's amazing. And what was that like moving from Perth and then moving out of home for the first time, getting over to Melbourne, new club, AFL, the dreams all happening. You've just had glandular fever. What was all that like?
Yeah, it all happened quick. So obviously you get drafted, and then the next day I had a big party with all my mates, and then pack your bags and you're off within 3 or 4 days.
It's actually crazy the turn. I don't understand why they can't just do it a few weeks earlier. So to
get a bit of a time to adjust
and just go, okay, cool, settle in, find a place, do what you need to do, pack the bag properly.
I think they've gotten like an idea of what they're sort of looking at the club. So they'll set up like the hosties for myself, Luke and Cozzy. They had that host family ready to go for us.
Yeah. And who was your host family?
The Brayshaw.
Oh, that would have been great. Yeah.
Mate, they are unreal people, unreal house, and just the whole family.
I have heard only great things about everyone in the family there. Yeah.
You can't say a bad word about any of them.
They got 4 boys, hey?
They got the 4, yeah.
Yep. So there's the ones that have played footy anyway. There's Andy, Angus,
and Hamish.
Yep. And you were rooming with in the same house with Luke and Coz as well, or?
Yeah. So I think it was the first year. It was all 3 of us, and then Cozzy moved out after a year.
Yep.
And then Daniel Turner, we picked him up mid-season the following year, and he moved in for 6 months with us.
Yeah, great. And then you've now moved out since with Trey Rusco, hey?
Yeah.
How's that?
Oh, no, it's difficult because we both don't want to do the dishes and clean up. But no, we make do, and it's great living with him. It's nice to have someone away from all the footy stuff. Like you don't see him every day, and then you come home and you don't talk about it because
It's actually quite like common, I hear, that like guys do that from other. You've got friends from other clubs living over in Melbourne, and they'll like room together. I think who was it? It was I was chatting to. Was it Sharad Wellingham, Buddy Franklin, and someone else? There was like another one from another. They're all playing for 3 different clubs, and they used to all live together.
Yeah, right.
And they like reckoned it was great because it was like same sort of thing as what you were saying. Is you've got someone there that's they know what you're going through, but they're not doing the everyday stuff with you.
Yeah. It's not. Yeah, it's just nice to come home and see a different face.
Yeah,
that's the main thing I reckon, and someone that you're familiar with as well.
Yeah,
obviously grew up with Trey and everything, so
exactly
makes it a lot more comfortable.
Most definitely. And we touched on it before. You were 20 years old and you played in a premiership, which is like unbelievable. Like I want to know all about that year. So I guess again, how do you think it's like a bit of luck? Do you reckon it was right place, right? So what do you think? As in that brought all that together for you? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean it was a bit of everything. Obviously, there was luck in getting picked up at where I did.
Did you also? Was there any other clubs that were possibly interested around the draft time that you were chatting to, or?
Yeah, well, leading into the draft, I thought I was off to Queensland, so either Gold Coast or Brisbane.
Yeah.
And then I'm pretty sure if Melbourne weren't going to take us 32, Brizzy were going to take us 33.
Yep.
And they were trying to trade in front or whatever it was, something along those lines. But ended up at Melbourne. I got told I was heading to Melbourne if I got to their pick, so I sort of knew it was coming, which was pretty exciting.
Wow, that's so cool. And at the time, where was sort of Melbourne sitting on the ladder, sort of that end of 2019 season? Did they make finals that year? They did, didn't they?
Nah, so 2017 they came. I think they made the prelim in Perth.
Yep.
And then 2018 they came 17th, and obviously got the higher draft picks, and then picked up Luke, Coz, and then myself.
Yes.
And then the 2019 we came 9th. We missed out to the Bulldogs on percentage.
Yep.
And then 2020 was it 20? Oh, sorry. Yeah, 2020, 2021.
21 you won. Yeah.
21 was
Yep.
Yeah. So sorry, 2020 we missed it on percentage.
Yes. Yep. And that 2021 season, you had an unreal year. I mean, you were averaging 15 disposals a game. You were named in the 22 under 22 side as well. What do you reckon, I guess, took you to the next level from your first year where you played sort of a handful of games to then pretty much playing almost every game of that 21 season, hey, just about close to.
Yeah, played all 25 of the games.
Which is crazy, yeah. And isn't there a stat like from the Melbourne team that was like you had the most amount of guys that played every game or something like that?
I think it was something like that. Yeah,
there was something crazy.
There was a heap that played 25, and then there was probably 3 or 4 that played 24. So we had like it was a team that didn't change too much. Yep. And obviously, like I'm grateful that I was in the squad and didn't. I lost a little bit of form, but they backed me in, and I found my form again, and it worked out. It worked out really well for me.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, what do you think was sort of the difference between your first season and that season? Were you working on anything different in the off season? Did you link up with any coaches? Did any guys take you under your wing? Anything like that?
Yeah, definitely the more mature guys in the back line.
Yeah.
Helped me a lot, but a lot of praise goes to my defensive coach, Troy Chaplin.
Yeah, weapon is he?
Oh, mate, he's been hammering into me since day one to defend first, attack second, and that was probably my mindset going into my first year. Was I would always give me the ball, I want to go run an attack, and then I'd forget where I am and be like, my man's out the back, and I'm like, I got to go defend or whatever, but. No, he's still, hammering that into me today is defend first and you put yourself in a position to get the ball after that.
And I guess like probably going from say like, playing East Freo footy, you could have probably done both fine, like in that level of footy, but then exactly. Yeah. But then when you go that next level up, you just got to do the defense. It's a big step up. Yeah, for sure.
You're a defender, you're a defender.
Exactly. And that 2021 team was so good. You touched on it. Maybe a big part of the success was the consistency of everybody staying in the side. What else do you reckon really made that side real special,
For me, I definitely think it was the unity in our back line. Obviously
super strong back line, yeah.
So since I've come to the club, that core group of probably like 9 or 10 guys that have filtered through that back line.
Yeah.
We've just got like a bond that I don't think many other groups across the whole AFL would have. Yep. And that's not like to say that they don't.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just think that we're all very tight knit. We know how each other play. We know we play to our strengths and then let everyone else play to their strengths as well. So like it might not be your turn this week, but it might be your turn the next week. And if it's not your turn that week, it might be the week after. But as long as we're winning and getting, score the runs on the board, that's all that matters.
Which is very much what I think football is actually one of the most proper team sports going around, because say for example basketball or even soccer, if you have the best guy in the league in basketball and he's playing for you, you might win. But in footy, if you've got the best guy that's ever played, you still might not win. You've got to have everyone on the same page. It's like a proper team sport, isn't it?
Yeah, no, definitely.
And I heard that the training sessions down Melbourne are brutal, right? And I've heard this from a few different people as well. They're absolutely brutal. And I know that it was an intra club. I want to say that there's some vision of you getting absolutely poleaxed by your own teammates. Oh my God, tell me about that.
Yeah, so
I've got the vision. I can probably put them up on a clip or something.
It's great. So. There's, I don't know which one came first. I think the first one was, so I was playing on the seconds team at that point.
Mm-hmm. And what year was this? Was this your first or second year?
This was second year.
Second year, yep.
So I was, it could have been start of this preseason actually.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so got the ball in the back pocket and then go to take off and I'm, sprinting around and, I get round the guy on the mark and then I cut back in and then flick off a handball and I'm, up in the air, flicked it off. Probably should have used my left, but I've opened myself up, flicked it off with my right. And Jack Viney, one of the,
he's a hard-hitting man.
Competition, is just standing there, just crosses his arms and just goes smack. And I've just hit the deck. Like, he just hit me and my soul's just gone 20 metres that way. My hat's gone 10 metres the other way. And I'm just sitting on the deck, like looking up, going, holy shit, what just happened? And then, we got the other end, score a goal, thankfully, because if it was coming back, I was not moving.
No, yeah, exactly. You were still on the floor.
Yeah, and then the next contest, I'm lying up a bit dazed. I'm like, I'm feeling all right, but, just a bit shaken up.
Of course, as
next
you would be.
Next contest, obviously, probably Clary and Track and Vin are all in the middle. Gorney taps it down their throat. They kick a high ball in. It's on my head. I've got Sam Wiedemann, who's just...
massive, yeah.
Oh, just huge. Yeah. Huge, one of the greatest blokes ever, nicest blokes ever you'll ever meet. But, put a footy in front of him, he's going to go for it.
Don't sit underneath him if there's a ball up in the air. Yeah.
So there's a high ball and it's going just over my head. So I'm sort of like, fuck, like I've got to put myself in the line here, otherwise he's getting it. Sort of track back, go to jump up, and he's just crunched me again. This is literally the next contest. And mate, I reckon I thought I was alright. I thought before I watched the vision, I thought I just got hit and got back up.
Yeah.
Mate, I lied there for about 5 seconds. I reckon I was doubted out for a bit, but it was it was a big hit.
Within a couple of minutes of each other as well. You probably got all your bones knocked to the left and then back to the right.
And then all the wind came out of me and didn't want to come back in for another 2 or 3 minutes.
And again, with injury clubs, they're kind of a bit dangerous because there's no suspensions.
No.
I imagine maybe that could have been a few weeks if you'd done that in a game at injury club. Get up, next play, but they hit you back the other way.
Yeah, mate, it hurt.
That's all time. And in general, would you also describe the Melbourne trainings as pretty fierce and pretty heated, and you guys go real hard? Or
yeah, and there's obviously tempers fly around because everyone's we're very competitive. As probably every team is. You want to win even if it's a little one-on-one game. You're not just going to let it up because, that guy's my mate. Nah.
Yeah.
It's me v you, and we're both going to go 100% at this, and may the best man win.
Well, I think that's when you hear of, teams like Melbourne in that season, and then, I don't know if you watch, The Last Dance, with Michael Jordan and stuff. It's they're all talking about how hectic the practices were and, how hard everyone was hitting at training and going at training. But, it rewards you when it comes to game day.
You train the way you play.
Exactly.
That was our mentality going into it.
Then the games become way easier, isn't it? And do you reckon that year, because obviously that was a year where COVID was going through the league and, there was all the bubbles and they had all the hubs and all that sort of stuff. Do you actually reckon that maybe helped that year in terms of bringing your team together because you were spending so much time together and I guess maybe not socialising with, as many people outside of football?
Yeah. So the first year was in the Queensland hub, which was just
of course. I even forgot that first year was you were completely in the bubble thing.
Yeah, in Queensland. So we pretty much had a private beach to ourselves and everything, which is awesome. But the second year was different. Obviously, for instance, when we went to play Gold Coast, we flew to Gold Coast, and while we're in the air, they've closed their borders. So we've landed on the tarmac and they go, all right, no one can step foot off the plane. You step on the tarmac, you're doing 2 weeks quarantine.
Man,
so we're sitting there.
I literally had almost the same thing happen to me when I was coming back from Queensland to here. Same deal. I was on the plane.
Shocking, isn't it?
Oh, man. It was and when you think about it all now, you're like, what the fuck was all of that about?
Yeah, literally. It's all, if you step foot there, you're doing 2 weeks of isolation.
Bizarre.
Now it's we just live with it. It is what it is.
Yeah,
so.
bizarre. Yeah. And sorry, anyway, and then you were together for that whole time for that season as well?
Yeah, so not as much. It was a bit more normal, but there were different periods where we were spending a few days in we'll play a couple games in Adelaide, or we'd obviously the final series was all in Perth.
Yeah, great.
Which for me was
unbelievable.
The best thing ever.
What were you like when that got announced? You were like, oh my God, this is
literally
a gift.
Running around and going, lap it up. But everyone else was sitting there, can we bring our families? Can we bring this? And, all that. And
you're like, I don't care. They're all there. I'm bringing mine.
This is the best thing ever. So
they'll take your tickets. Yeah.
No, I had 30 odd tickets to the grand final, and I was like, it's just unheard of. It was great.
That's really awesome. Great. And my next question was sort of going to go into that when the finals got announced that they were going to be all in Perth. In front of all your family and friends and all that sort of stuff, I imagine, like you just said, you would have been hitting up from requests left, right and centre for everything. So what games did you play in Perth? So obviously the grand final, the prelim was here as well. I went to that one against Geelong. You guys absolutely smashed them. That was pretty good fun.
Yeah.
And was there another one before that?
Nah, so we obviously won first week against Brisbane, and then we went straight through.
Was that in
prelim.
Brisbane?
That was in Adelaide. So we got a home. Yep. We got to choose where we wanted to play.
Yes,
yep. For some reason, we always play really well at Adelaide Oval.
Yep.
So we're like, all right, we'll go there.
Yep.
We played Brizzy there, got the win, and then flew straight into Perth.
Yeah, great. And then when you were here, did you get to link up with your family and friends and stuff, or they were pretty tight with sort of keeping everyone together? And
no, they were really lenient.
That's good.
So we had 2-week quarantine, but we were able to leave to go to training and then come back, and we had the whole Joondalup resort to ourselves.
Yeah,
which was pretty good.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And we're all hanging out together every day, so it's not like we're missing out. and then obviously like still going to training and that. So did the 2 weeks, and then after that, they were like, as long as you know make your commitments, you're at training, you're there for whatever. Just let us know if you want to go home for dinner or whatever it is. Be back by 9 o'clock. Yeah, and. Yeah, they were really good for us.
That's good, and it's kind of it's funny that sometimes they kind of go the opposite direction in terms of relaxation stuff when it comes to the finals and big games, because it's like during the year and all the prep stuff, it's like pretty intense and pretty pretty rigid, I guess, with all your schedule and everything. But I've heard from a few teams that once you go to the finals and the big games, it's actually more about just you can't do any more training for it. Let's just relax, just chill yourself out, and then sort of get up and ready to go.
Yeah. Oh well, we had a massive intra club the week before Geelong, I think it was. Yeah. Yeah. So we had a week off. So that's Saturday night, or might have been Friday night. We had another big intra club match, and it was full on.
That was full on, was it?
Yeah. It was a big old hit out, and we all went 100%, like full, full tilt. But
all the guys that were maybe not going to get the team go, I want to go. And everyone a few of these ones up.
Charlie Spargo almost got his ankle rolled over real bad, but he popped up, and it was all good, but it looked terrible. It was like one of those tackles where you're spinning, and it was
caught underneath.
Ankle got caught, and you hear him yell out, and you're like, oh. But he got up and he was all good.
That's the worst nightmare to do that, the week or a couple of weeks out. Hey?
Yeah, you'd feel so bad for if you would do that to the guy and he missed out. You'd feel shocking.
Yeah, big time. I want to know all about the actual grand final day. So we did some clips the other day, and you told me this story already, but I want you to tell it again. Yeah. What was your nerves like before the game? Were you doing anything different to kind of calm yourself down, or you an absolute nervous wreck?
Yeah. So obviously woke up, had a bit of a sleep in. Woke up at I say 8:30ish. Just sort of sat in my room for a little bit, and then went down to have breakfast, and it was sort of like everyone was sort of sitting on their own doing their thing, oh, hey, how you feeling? Yeah, good. How are you feeling? The basic chat you have, it was oh, hey, how are you feeling? I was nervous as anything, right? Because it's going to be the biggest game of footy I've ever played.
And also, you're 20 years old.
I've got 30 people in the crowd as well, so if I'm mess up, they're all going to be sitting there going, oh, you know what, it's all right. I'm just sitting there going, I don't want to hear it. But anyway, so that happened, brekkie happened, and then all of us younger boys, we pretty much just opened up all of our doors and just you go into one room, sit there, have a chat for half an hour. Some guys playing 2K, some guys playing some COD, whatever it was, and then you go into you go to that room, have a chat, go to the next room, have a chat, or we'd all link up and go do something, go for a dip or whatever. Yep. And then probably an hour before we left, because I always message mum and dad before a game. Yeah. I flicked them both a message and then just said I'm turning my phone off, and I turned my phone off. And then I sat in my room, so I grabbed my phone, sent mum and dad the message, put it down, and then sort of sat there and I was like, all right, just looking around,
alone with your thoughts,
just twiddling my thumbs and whatever, and then ended up for about half an hour, 45 minutes, I reckon, I was just pacing up and down in my room, and I was a nervous wreck. I was like, what?
I'm in my head. It
was shocking. And then I ended up, I put my phone in my bag, grabbed everything, ended up just going back into one of the other boys' room for a little bit before we went down to the bus. Got to the game, went out in the Oval, and then once I was out in the Oval, it was pretty good. Sort of all the nerves got out. You see the crowd rolling in, heaps of people. It was all, it felt fine. And and then you do your warm up, final prep. Goody has his last chat, and then mate, there's what's that bar? It's like the underground bar at Optus, and it's where it might be a members section or something.
The underground one, or the one that's on?
It's on the boundary.
Oh yeah. It's sort of on the dip on the sideline bit. I know the one. Yeah.
So we all came out of there, and we're standing in the tunnel, and it's us and then the Doggies boys. I don't know if they'd gone out before us or something, but we're all standing there, and there was just people just screaming, and my body was I'm getting goosebumps talking about now, but just people screaming, they were yelling, and you just can't hear anything. And you're like sitting there, the adrenaline's pumping, you're getting goosebumps. You're like, oh my God.
I can't honestly even
just
imagine,
trying to do these ones. Like
Yeah.
you see people hit here and here and here and here just in your face, and you're just like trying to look straight. Obviously you soak it all in, and you run out and do all that or whatever, and then the game started, and
then that's it, and then it's into a regular game.
Yeah, and then the game happened, but mate, it was loud.
Yeah, I can imagine, man. And that I can't even put that into my head about how that would actually feel, like the whole adrenaline rush of standing there and everyone going nuts, and
it
man,
was special.
Yeah, I can imagine, bro. That's insane. And then who did you match up with to start off with?
So I usually start on the bench for the first 4 minutes and then rotate on.
Yep.
When I came on, because obviously you worry about getting a touch and all that sort of thing. So when I came on, the Doggies sent one of their guys up into the stoppage. So I was a spare man. So mate, he was like, mate, stand right there. And I was like, you beauty, like, spare man, whatever. High ball comes in, easy mark. I'm just like, cab off the rank, like, here we go. And then, so I didn't really have anyone for the first bit. And then, kicked along, and then followed up, got a ground ball, gave it to Salo, gave it to Track, and then he kicked the first goal of the game. So
fantastic, great.
It's weird how you can recall, like, so much of what happens. But, that was my first little...
and a great one as well, like you said, like, was part of like a real nice passage of play for it.
Yeah, and it put me in a great mood. Like, felt good about myself. Got a couple of early touches, did my thing, and
it's funny how, like you said, like because you got that early touch, you were going, all right, like you're up and about now. But imagine if you didn't. Imagine if it took another 5 minutes, how different that might have affected everything that you did for the rest of the time, the whole butterfly effect of it. It's actually nuts, isn't it?
It's weird, eh? Like, one thing can change the whole outlay of a game.
Yeah.
You never know.
Yeah, that's wild. And obviously it was pretty neck and neck up until halftime, and the Doggies were actually up at halftime.
Yeah, and then they pulled away again.
Yeah, at the start of the third.
Start of the third, yeah.
Because I was actually sitting with Luke and Zach and all of Luke's family, and I'm pretty sure your family was
probably
a little bit to the left of us or whatever. There was a big lot for you.
Yeah.
Like Luke's mum was crying at halftime, going, oh no, I'm going all about everyone, because it was the whole Melbourne section, and everyone's like, oh, freaking out. Anyway, I'm like, oh no, this is the worst. And then you guys came out, well, halfway through the third quarter, and it was just switch,
50,
done.
Yeah, I think it was 59 to 40 or 46.
Yeah.
And then after that, it was 100 to 7.
Yeah. It's actually crazy, hey. I was watching some, I typed in, a few clips to watch of yours to bring up a few things and whatever for this, and there was your highlights that came up, and I was just like, again, I was there. I remember the game, but I was flicking through the highlights just to go, find some little bits of play. And like you said, it went from you guys being, about 15, 20 points down on the scoreboard to I clicked 30 seconds into the video, and then you guys are up by 4 goals or something. I just forgot how quickly that happened.
Mate, the end of that third quarter, I don't even know what's happening. I was just sitting there in awe, just watching. That it's probably one of the greatest 4 minutes of play you can watch.
It was absolutely.
You just get goosebumps every time you see it. You get all jittery and it's weird. It's something that and unless you even experienced it, you obviously you win the juniors and you do that sort of stuff, but something that you don't understand how special it is until you've almost gone away. I've gone away this year and we've been knocked out in straight sets, and you're like, nah, I want to get back to what it felt like last year. It's something so special, and you're bound for life with that group.
Yeah.
People go, people come in, but that group that play together is always going to be the 21 premiership team. So it's something real special. Yeah,
I can imagine. And what was said either at halftime, or what was sort of pulled together, or what was the one moment at the halfway through the third quarter that everything switched and went? Was there something that someone said? Was there a play? Was there anything like that you can remember?
I don't think there was. Goody was real calm at halftime.
Yep.
He still had a lot of faith. He's just he's big on just having a smile on your face, enjoying what you're doing. Obviously, he's probably sitting there absolutely
stressing,
yeah,
going, these fucking idiots.
But no, it was just sort of roll. I think the game at the moment is like very momentum based. So you get
go
momentum
on runs, hey.
and it goes like, obviously the Doggies went on a swing at the start of the second. So yeah, it's very momentum based. So I think Frida might have kicked the first one after they kicked their few, and then from there we sort of just got that confidence. We're like, all right, we're good. Like, all right, next one, and then the next one, and then the next one, and then you just worry about the next play. It's like, make sure the next play that you're in, you win it or halve it. Like, you don't lose it, that sort of thing. So, yeah, and it just had a flow-on effect, and we were able to just get on top of them.
It's amazing, hey? And yeah, that vision, like you said, of that 4 or 5 minutes that you're talking about is one of the best passages of, 5 minutes that you're ever going to see in football. It just, everything went right. Everything.
It could literally look like you've clipped that from a whole game.
Yeah.
But like, it just happened all in front of us.
All in one bit, yeah.
And like us defenders, because obviously we're sitting there, they get the clearance and we're like, oh, you beauty. And then they kick a goal and we all go, get around it.
Yeah.
But then it happens again and we're just looking at each other like, mate, what is this? Like, this is awesome. Then it goes again and again. I'm like, mate, this is special.
That is crazy. That is crazy. And what was the moment that you went, we've got them, they're done? What was the bit?
So I spoke, so Alex Neil-Bullen had a shot in the fourth quarter.
Mm-hmm.
I remember Luke was standing next to me and I was like, mate, if he kicks this, like, I reckon we're going to win the flag.
Yeah.
And Luke's like, no, don't say that, don't jinx it, you've got to jinx it, don't say that. And then kicked it. We've all just like got around it, whatever. And then Luke had his moment where he kicked his goal. And I think that was the one where it was like, all right, like now it's just a matter of time.
Yeah.
Because it was probably about halfway through the fourth. We're up by whatever it was, 60 points or something. And yeah, it was pretty sick.
Yeah.
It was pretty sick.
Man, it's just, again, I'm like, I was there watching Luke, didn't know you as much as I do now, but it was just such a cool thing. And all the Melbourne fans that have just been, heartbroken for ages and been waiting for it. And it was super cool. And then when the siren went, what happened? What did you feel? What was who did you run to?
I had a group of, there was a big group. Sort of regret not running to the defenders because I was standing at the 50 and then there's a big pile of like Track, Clary, Salo. I remember them three were the first three there and then everyone sort of just swarmed in. But then there was the defenders behind us. So I've jumped on that one and then I was like, nah, get up and go get around the boys that have been playing with. But that happened and then it was just, I don't even know. Like it's hard to recall
that bit. It was just such a blur and just go.
Mate, it was special. It was very special.
I was talking to Xavier Ellis and he was talking about, I think, Buddy's 100th goal that he kicked in the year and everyone ran on and the premierships and whatever. And he said, everybody would know that if there's a big moment coming up, go get around the guy the quickest you can so you get in the photo. So he goes, so it was there and I was going, I was trying to find where Bud was and I was getting out there and then the grand final when they won, he's gone, where's Hodgie? Quick, where's Hodgie? Where is he? Get him. So, oh, that's funny. And then obviously the after party, what happened then? You're in Perth, you go out partying. Where'd you all go?
So that night we went to Market Grounds.
Yep. Feeling like the actual kings of Perth, I imagine.
Yeah, it was awesome. And then don't remember too much, but we all rocked back up at the Joondalup Resort.
Mm-hmm.
Packed the bags. No, we had to get up and go to the parade in the morning.
Oh, God. The last place you want to be. Yeah.
There's a video of me getting off the bus and I've got these sunnies on. I'm looking shocking, looking bad. But like...
what do you expect, though?
So we've all rocked up there, went to the parade, and then from the parade went to Cottesloe Beach Hotel.
Yep.
Had that back area sort of sectioned off just for us.
Wicked.
Had a DJ in there, drinks on the house. It was just awesome. And then after a bit, all the like friends and family were able to come through.
Yep.
So had all my mates there and everything, family, and then got a bus to Henry Summers because that was popping off at the time.
That was the place to be. Yep.
Yeah. And then it was just chaos. Like we all just gone straight through. There's this line, who knows how long it's Henry Summers, and then my mates are all messaging me like, hey, like, you reckon you can try and get us in? I'm just walking to, I think I went up to the chick that, you know, was like organising everything. I was like, hey, can I grab a few mates? She goes, yeah, no worries. Walk up to the front. I'm just like, boys, like, let's go. And they all just walk in because you're all wearing your Melbourne gear.
Yes.
And we just walked in and like nothing was said and we all come straight out to the dance floor. And mate,
Awesome.
that was one of the best days I reckon I've had, just
feeling like the absolute man around town.
Just
Yeah.
king of everything. And just having everyone around as well.
Well,
awesome.
when I can, the only feeling I can relate to that was when I got off Love Island, right? Oh, bro. Right, came back, thought I was fucking Brad Pitt of Perth. I was honestly, there was the same thing. You go up to any nightclub or whatever, and the seas would just part for you. Yeah, bring a mate down. Oh, yeah, the drinks. Oh, no worries, guys. Got this.
How good is that?
It was good for about 8 weeks, and then, yeah, now it's not the case anymore.
Yeah. And now
it's fucking going.
now you're not the premiers anymore. Geelong have decided to take the reins.
Exactly. Oh, that's so good. And there was a story I remember about when you were at market grounds that like the Bulldogs guys rocked up. Was there some beef or something? Or was that all false?
Oh, and I think a few of the boys went to Metros.
Right.
And then I think, the Doggies boys rocked up.
Was that all smoke and mirrors or what was that?
I'm not too sure. I wasn't there. But I think they might have played like the Melbourne song or like Freed from Desire, because you know how they played that after the prelim, and then we played it about 150 times over the next 2 days.
Yeah, of course.
So I think there was a bit of something going on there.
Right, gotcha.
Yeah, I'm not too sure.
Don't know. Yeah. And then obviously the season just gone 2021 didn't quite go as well as 2022. What am I saying?
Yeah.
Didn't quite go the same as 21. What do you reckon was the difference this year? Did you think there was anything that that was obviously different from the year before, or
as a team, or
as a team, and sort of as you said for yourself maybe, or not saying that you didn't have a good year, not saying that, but just more as the team sense. I mean,
Yeah, I don't think there was too much that was different. Obviously, like we had a game style 21 where we just were able to get on top of teams, overrun them. And like we were able to do that for the majority of 22, but then we almost just, I'm not too sure what happened from a team perspective. I think, teams just obviously caught on to how we played and what we did. And especially that Brisbane game in the finals, like it's not very often, it's not very often that, we were getting overrun by teams. And I think they just, got a run on us and we weren't able to hit the scoreboard, but, that happens. And, they're a good team. They deserve to go on, and it was what it was. So, and then obviously me, I had my knee issues pretty much all year.
And it's feeling better now?
Yeah, it's back to 100% now.
So I remember when we first started, you're like, oh, it's a little bit sore, but I haven't heard you say like literally anything about it the whole time. So
yeah, no, that was a bit of an issue, but no, it's all cleared up now. And
good. Just needed some rest. Yeah, great. And then for yourself going into next year, what's the goal? What have you got locked in? Is there anything that you're thinking, yep, this is what I'm going to be working on, focusing on, getting the most out of yourself? Well, what are you thinking?
Yeah, I just want to get as fit as I can. I just want to be able to run, both ways of the ball.
Yeah.
Link up on offense, handball receive, break some lines, and then obviously defend hard, get back, put myself in positions to, help the boys when they're like the keys when they're spoiling.
Yep.
Get to, ground ball contest, that sort of thing. So that's all going to be based on how fit I can get. And I think I've put myself in a great spot over the off season.
You have, certainly have.
To, set myself up for, when the footy starts coming around in probably 3 or 4 months.
Yeah, most definitely. And there was something that I thought was really interesting that you said to me about your running and sort of the running style and whatever that you do at training was like 150 metre one. Weren't you doing like shorter runs rather than the big long ones or something like that?
As like conditioning?
Yes, for your conditioning. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not too sure what the goal is with it, but like, all of us have full faith in our, strength and conditioning team. And obviously we started with Darren Burgess, who, sort of set the precedence of, hey, this is how we're going to do it. And then now Selwyn has come in and he's put his spin on things, his own spin on things. Still sort of the same program, but like it's not like there's any difference between the two. Like, one comes in, one goes out, but we trust him just as much. And if he's telling us to run this and this is the speed we have to run and these are the Ks we need to get to, perform at this level, we all go, yep, no worries, we're going to do it. Put our, head down, ass up. And
well, thank you so much for joining us on Poddy, Madge. It's been an absolute privilege having you down in the gym and clanging and banging, and you're looking awesome. And I can't wait for the photos on Thursday. What you chop up next year, it's gonna be so good. But thank you very, very much for coming on.
No, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Let's do it. Until next year, baby.